So I really dislike making these kind of videos because I believe everyone should play something in the game that they enjoy playing, like build the characters you want to build. But I know people would like to know what works out better long term in the game, like what you should focus on. So I'm going to try to give you a quick and dirty basic team building guide here. And this is for Cyber Rebellion, and I'm Greg, and let's get right into it. So you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I have built currently, where I am at, and I will be going in later on about what I'm going for at this point. But these are kind of the units I picked up. I picked up Seer very early and used her above any of the other healers. Honestly, Zealothy is a great healer early game, but we'll talk about the S healers to use or the S characters to use in a minute. Rick Alpha Wolf is my main carry. Now, one thing I want to point out real quick is my distribution of power among my team. You can see my Rick Alpha Wolf is at 211k. My next one down is almost half that at 113k for Saki. Then Taki is at 94k. And then you can see my support and tank are the lowest. I am not, heavily invested as some, so I don't have quite a large spread on my count. I decided to focus in on my DPS. And that's what I recommend for everyone. So let's go ahead and talk about early game. What should you be doing? You should be focusing on S heroes. Now, if you get some decent SS pools early, you get them up to like 5, 6, 7, 8 stars, then yeah, you can go ahead and slot them in and start building them. But early game, you want to focus on S heroes. So your team is going to consist of a mixture of destroyer, assault, tank, and support. And you want at least one of each on the team because they all take different materials to level up. So you can't go too hard. As you can see here, even at this point, I got 3 support build up, 1 tank, 2 assault, 2 destroyer built on my account. So you can't go too hard on spreading out your resources. Now, tank is quick and dirty, easy thing to cover. Iron Fist, Candido Iron Fist, one of the best tanks early to mid game, and I mean people still use him in the late game. I was using him until the other day. Eventually I switched over to Vanguard, and but I can't really say he's necessarily doing much more for me right now at that power, but I think he has the better potential on being able to do stuff. Then let's talk about support real quick. Support, you have quite a few options, but the number one healer early game is Zealothy. Zealothy is a nice AoE healer. She has pretty big heals and easy to use. Definitely recommend her. Then in terms of additional support, you can go for something like Pixel Beat. She can debuff. Any other purple support? I don't know. See what you pull on SS. If you pull like Seer or something, or even Catherine, then you can use them early game. But at the very least, you want to build Zealothy. So moving on to assaults. One of my early assaults, which does a lot of damage, very strong. Sakuragari. Man, I don't know how to pronounce these things, man. So bear with me. She has an AoE unique, which is actually pretty strong, as well as a very strong direct damage one, single target damage. So she's very good to use early game. Personally, I recommend everyone start with a destroyer, very strong AoE, preferably with 2 attack moves. So here I use Rick Gunblade. He has an ultimate AoE as well as a single target unique, but his single target unique does charge up his attack, so you can use that before you use the AoE to get even more damage out of him. And he carried me all the way through the second playthrough. You have no issues if you want to focus Gunblade. He's very good one to focus until you build up something else to switch over to. I ended up switching from him to Alpha Wolf when Alpha Wolf was 8 stars. So kind of gives you an idea of what to do, and then that boosted me up even more. I was able to do a lot more. But Rick Gunblade, hands down, great hero to start with, great for PvP, and great for PvE. I mean, great in all the modes. Holosim, he struggled a little bit, but still got me quite far. He got me through all chapters through the second playthrough, and up to like level 40 on the tower. Definitely easy character to use. And you must know, I never used any synergy on my account. I did have a lot of, good little bit of broken armor, but I didn't use any of the real synergy with that. I mean, just helped get me a little more damage. So there's these 2 characters you guys need to keep in mind. There is Taki and Catherine Gold, and these 2 come in events that come with red cubes. So when you use those red cubes, you can either summon either one of those two heroes. Their banners change out back and forth on like a weekly, bi-weekly basis. They'll come in and you can get either of these. Personally, I recommend trying to get at least one copy of Catherine Dirty Gold. She's very useful for bosses and things to try to lock them down with her deal move. But in late game, it does get harder and harder to land that, and harder just to land debuffs in general. Taki is very, very strong. A lot of people will swear by Taki. His double ultimate is very strong. Plus, he has naturally a lot of crit, and he can give crit to the rest of the team. I use him more as a support. And if you're going to focus someone else, you can use him as a support, give your team crit, and then a little bit of extra survivability with his revive. But if you do focus him, you can focus him if you want. If you plan to invest a little bit in the game, or you get lucky and pull enough copies of him, even at like 6 stars, he can be very, very strong if you focus him and give him everything, your most powerful stuff. In that case, you can use the male commander and try to get the double ultimate off with him. So very strong. Definitely not going wrong if you build him or her. Is it him or her, man? I swear this is a him, but then I see people say her online. No, that's a him. That is a him, I think. Anyway, you can see here I built Saki Zangetsu. She's not bad. She pairs well with like Eric, and man, you'll see a lot of people swear by Eric. Eric is good. The Broken Armor Bleed team is really good, but it does break down over time. As gene power gets higher and higher on the enemies, and also it actually takes quite a bit of investment to build this composition. Do not go all in on Ghost, or why do I call him Ghost? Eric Death Eye, because he's not good standalone. I mean, maybe if you get his broken armor off and then hit, but he needs too much else going on to really pop off. Hazink has a really good video on the team composition. He built it really well. He also invested a lot in the game, and has pretty much all the elements of the team that you would need. Now, if you want to spend a lot and go that route, go for it. But it will still break down in the higher levels of tower. Now, you can see here, my focus was Alpha Wolf. Alpha Wolf becomes available in the second playthrough. If this is something you want to go for, I would highly recommend it. Start with Rick Gunblade, use him for a while until you can craft Rick Alpha Wolf. Once you can craft him, build him up in the second playthrough, you'll be able to craft more copies of him and also put him in the recruit in your wish banner and build him up from there. And that's what I did. I really focused him hard, and you can see he's my only 12-star SS hero at this point, as I'm starting to go for some other things. Now, once you have him, honestly, the rest of the team can kind of just fall into place. Pretty much everyone else is a meat shield at this point, unless they're buffing him up in some way. Taki just makes sure he ends up with 100% crit. Seer gives him buffs all the time. Vanguard just soaks up a few hits early game. You can see I have this level 80 perfect code on him. The reason why, you can put this on any tank, and someone pointed this out in Discord a few days ago. And with this at the level 80 skill code, they take 85% less normal attack damage. Just gives a little more survivability, lets you get a little bit further in the round to try to pop off on your other stuff. My Catherine Dirty Gold, I still use her for deal, and surprisingly she still lands it quite a bit. I don't know if they ninja nerf something on the enemies, because from like tower level 60 to 80 she wasn't landing anything, and now once I got past 80 she seems to land most of the time. I don't know, I don't get it, but gene power is not 100% reliable at this point until we get some more words from developers. You just can't rely on debuffs, I mean, honestly. So anyway, that's kind of the team loadout there. That's how they work. Like, you could substitute some of these. You could. I was using Candido Iron Fist before I used Vanguard. Catherine, I got her early. She's been on my team most of the time. Taki, I got early when his banner. You can get him a copy of him early, really early. And I've been using him ever since. Saki, I just got lucky on pools with her. That's why I'm using her. The other Saki, Zangetsu, not Zangetsu. Man, I hate trying to say these names. Suzaku, yeah, Suzaku. Suzaku is very, very strong. If you choose to go that route, maybe you pull a few copies of her. She can be a very good single target damage dealer, as well as her AoE is really strong at 2. So anyway, you can't go terribly wrong building too many of the folks. The only time you kind of break down is building someone with a reliance on debuffs. Candido Burst Boxer is really good, but He's better on like shielded enemies than Rick Raiden. Rick Raiden's actually really strong. If you get some copies of him early game, he could substitute in for Alpha Wolf to a degree. The problem is he doesn't have like an AoE right here for his unique, but you know, that's not the end of the world. He's more along the lines of Gunblade, because here, first time he uses unique, he overclocks, so his crit and skills plus 30%. So anyway, there's lots of options. Build what you want to build. What am I going for? If you just are curious, I am really going for DPS and trying to figure out how to lock down the enemy team, get them less ults. So I will, on tomorrow, we'll be crafting Ghost, Levia Ghost. She is a support. We'll look at her in a minute. But in terms of Zangetsu, she's not doing much for me. I will be switching her out for Byaku just for the counterattacks and possibly a little bit more nuking damage. And the fact that I need Alpha Wolf to really be alive with somebody else when he's in last stand. And that gives me more of an opportunity for that, because she can't be targeted until she's the last one standing. And who else am I going to switch out? So Vanguard, I'm still trying to build up. I'm going to try to put some more resources in him, make him a little tankier, stronger, so he can really help my team out a little bit more. Catherine may be replaced by Ghost. And then Seer, she, you know, I might switch around a little bit. Maybe I need Ghost and Catherine Dirty Gold to keep progressing. And so maybe Seer will have to drop out, and, you know, it just puts Alpha Wolf's attack a little bit further down. But Byaku, Ghost are my next switch ins, and the key thing about that is they're all second playthrough characters. So what does that mean? That means they are these middle fissions, and so Saki's, Rick's, who else? Candido's. No, we're not gonna use him. Levia's. And Candido's the other one you can get, but he's more for burn teams if you want to go that route. He's really strong. But really, Saki, Rick, and Levia, their middle fissions at the top there use module component Bs, and you get more access to them in the second playthrough, as well as they are added to the banner in the second playthrough. So you can pull them in the banner, and you can wish on them once you have them. Makes them a lot more attainable. That's why I recommend, if you can stick with your S's up through second playthrough, it'll help you out in the long run, because you'll get more of an opportunity to get those stronger heroes. So like I said, the one I am building next is going to be Ghost. And the reason for this is she has the ability to reduce energy on the opponent team. That means less ultimates, and the ultimates are really what's killing me right now, especially those AoE ultimates. And I'll show you that in a second to kind of round out this video. And you can see here, she has the ability to reduce energy and weaken Jean on the opposing team. So I'm really hoping to just kind of switch her in and maybe do a little bit of a showcase on her once I work her in, because I'll show you kind of what I'm dealing with right now. So this is tower level 90. And as you can see, we do have a boss on this one. So I have been decent at landing deal, but here's the problem. Rosa, this is Rosa, right? I think it's, or Matrix Runner. I'd be confusing the names between that and Vicious Rose. But anyway, she will hit one enemy with that little cage looking thing, but it will AoE on the others. And then this Saki here and this Vanguard here will both AoE very early. And all three of these guys can pretty much wipe out most of my team except for Alpha Wolf. Now, normally what I would do is go ahead and attack with Alpha Wolf. And so just so you can see how low the damage is at this point. Now, Saki is already going to have her ult, or not her unique ready. So I really need to lock her down. So I got to try to get 30 gold out here. Cast that. Stop that. Okay, so that gives me a little extra time on her. We have freaking heals from Zelody out here. It's freaking, I mean, they look at that. So a Matrix Runner used their thing and I'm screwed. Yeah. So at this point, I need to figure out how to reduce the energy and lock them down a little bit quicker. And then if I can have, again, like I said, if I had Byaku would have died there. But the more people you have alive with Alpha Wolf and Last Stand, the better, because he can get more moves off before he finally dies like that. But that's it. Up until that point, it was actually not too hard, but that level with those 3 DPS is extremely hard. And you can imagine if you're using like one of the other teams, I mean, you don't have time to get anything off. Your AoE at this point is not going to do enough damage to get them below 50% for Eric to pop off on them. So that's why the synergy teams just kind of break down a little bit. Like Burn, you're not going to stay alive long enough for Burn to kill them. Like, I'm sorry, you're not. I can't out heal any of this stuff at this point because they 1 to 2 shot me. Like, it's ridiculous. So anyway, I hope that helps, guys. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I am also in the official Discord if you're in there. If you need to ask questions, go for it. Again, I'm not an expert. I haven't used any of the synergies per se. I've seen some in action and they are nice, but it breaks down. And so I don't know, unless the developers have an answer for that at some point soon. Raw DPS is king, and it's king in PvP as well. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do one PvP match real quick. And I am sorry to pick on this person, but I finally got someone added that is similar in power, and so I don't have to pick on warm cookies today. Well, where are you? There we are. Sexium, what's going on? Sorry to pick you out, but all right, 622k. Very startup. Byaku, Taki. You know, everyone's like, oh, Taki. No, Alpha Wolf, baby, Alpha Wolf. So here we go. We'll see if he gets the moves off or not. But even versus a 600k team, I'll show you what Alpha Wolf can do. All right, we'll both get our ward off. Byaku's gonna counter. Okay, so this time he got the, I don't know, some weird stuff been going on with the tactical points here. She's gonna get bubble off on 1. All right, so I mean, I'm pretty much still good. And this is all I really need. Boom, boom, boom. Should be GG's. Clean up. Done. So yeah, Alpha Wolf is an absolute beast if you do focus him. Now I want to just be clear, because a lot of people aren't as focused on one hero, and I think that's one of the key things in this game is you really focusing on one. Build up your team a little bit, but really focusing on one, especially with those implants boost. I bet you if this Taki had all 120 implants, might be a little bit different story, might be able to survive a little bit better. But either way, it's PvP is a speed game. You can't really worry about PvP. Do not worry about PvP in this game, honestly. It's a speed game. All you gotta do is put in 2 very high speed heroes with the rest of your team. Even if they're level 1, as long as you get your tactical points first and you have someone strong that can AoE, you pretty much good. Game over. That's just the name of the game. And Alpha Wolf is probably gonna be king for a little bit, but hey, we'll see. Either way, oh, that's not warm cookies. I didn't face warm cookies there. So let's look at Sexium. All right, he pulled his Taki up to 150k, so still 50k below my Alpha. If he pumped it up, I don't know, maybe a little bit different. Who knows? Either way, Alpha is probably one of the most well-rounded heroes in the game. Honestly, he's got that he got survivability, he's got defense, he's got crazy attack. You guys can see it. There you go. Again, if you have questions, let me know. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. I'll catch you guys in the next video.